All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the party. Today is Friday. Thank goodness Friday, right? September 5th, 2025. This is episode 957 of Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host. Two thumbs, all smiles, Dr. Gerald Auger. And over the next hour, me, you, Alice Grimm, Mara Levy, Trixa Hornet, Space Tacos, Marcus Kyler, Triple D, Soulshine, John Elliott, Matisse, Cybersec, JS, and so many more are going to be shredding, absolutely eviscerating the top cybersecurity news stories of the day. And I'll be doing everything in my power to go beyond those headlines and empower you with knowledge based on my 20 years of experience in the field to get insights that you wouldn't normally get just from the story itself, and also be able to be an even more productive, powerful practitioner, and ultimately be the CEO of you, so you have flexibility in your choices. I was just talking to someone yesterday about how they're being asked to do more at work, like hiring freezes, but being asked to do more roles, more responsibilities, and how that's basically like diminishing your salary because you're taking on two jobs. And, you know, basically, I would love for you all to be the CEO of you and have flexibility to decide when enough is enough. Also, if you're looking to break into the industry, I got to tell you guys, you're going to be asked in any job interview, how do you stay current on the industry? And this show, the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, is undeniably a very solid option for that answer to that question. However, you do have to be engaged. You do have to pay attention. Just showing up is, half the battle, but you do have to engage and pay attention, because the follow-up question to how do you stay current is, oh, tell me about that. And if you're like, I don't know, I don't know. I tune in and then I put it on mute, put it on a back tab, and do some other stuff. That's not going to really work or help you in any way. Guys, every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief, as if the value train wasn't already chugging away, leaving the station, every episode is worth half a CPE. So say what's up in chat like BW just did. Good morning, CPE 0.5 hours, September 5th. Grab a screenshot, file it away. What's up, Dan Reardon, Haircut Fish? Go ahead, file it away. And once a year, just say, count the number of screenshots and divide by 2. And that is the number of CPEs that you have. Kayla Sturgeon, did the numbers and discovered you can get up to 120 CPEs a year just by being active and engaged with the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief. So, let's go. I don't know what that was. That felt like a big gorilla King Kong type move. It felt appropriate when we're talking about 120 CPEs. Now, before we get into it, guys, I do want to say I see a lot of friends here like Bruce and Hacks and Gary Sturgiadis, who I hope gets to Wild West Hackin' Fest. Quick note, if you are currently in the chat right now or you're watching on replay and you have a ticket to Wild West Hackin' Fest, but you're unable to go.
We just become best friends.
And you're like, what am I going to do with this ticket? Please connect with Gary Sturgiadis or myself. We can help you get that ticket resolved and get you, your money back, frankly. Kevin1059 with a super chat. Thanks you, Kevin1059. Appreciate you being here. Yo, if today's your first episode, drop a hashtag first timer. Hashtag first timer in chat. We have a special sound effect, a special emote, all the things. So we would love to welcome you. Trust me, our core values here at Simply Cyber, whether it's the Daily Cyber Threat Brief or any of the other multitude of podcasts that we have on the channel and the platform, we are inclusive, we are supportive, we promote empowering you to be successful. So please say hashtag first timer and giddy up on that. Yes, Kevin, thank you. All right, guys, before we get into it, let me say holla to Cyber Sheriff UK on Discord. Roswell UK, looks like you got a friend, a mate, a chap. I don't know the other British terms. My exposure to British culture is limited to Guy Ritchie films. But hey, Cyber Sheriff UK, welcome to the party, pal. Great to have you here. All right, guys. Hey, every single episode I appreciate is sponsored by the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber, Anti-Siphon, Threat Locker, and Delete Me. Really quick, Barricade Cyber Solutions. If you go to webinars.barricadecyber.com, I want you to know that they are running a webinar series. So free education, plus you get to engage with community on September 10th. So 5 days from today, they are running their Fortify 365 webinar series. If you don't know about this, it's a little bit different than their ransomware series. But they're going to be helping you understand how you can use Tenable for looking at your Microsoft 365 configuration solutions aligned to CIS baselines, right? So there's a lot to unpack there, but basically the TLDR is if you're responsible for security, your organization, or IT and security double hatting, and you run a Microsoft 365 environment, it would be incredibly beneficial to you to check this webinar out and get some access to education from someone who does it for a living, Eric Taylor. Go to webinar. Is it Resolve Both? Webinar? Hold on one second. Checking. Yes, interesting. So you can go to webinar or webinars.barricadecyber.com to get access to these things. They've got both links working, so that's fantastic. Thank you, Barricade Cyber, for the support. Also want to say holla to Anti-Siphon Training, who is bringing us amazing leaders in the space and their education for free 99. If you like that, their Anti-Cast series is inspired our Simply Cyber Community Workshop series. Their Anti-Cast series every Wednesday, next Wednesday, September 10th, right before Barricade Cyber's Fortified 365 event. I want to tell you about their
best friends. Yep.
Webinar. Wait, hold on. That's Flare. What are we doing? Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jesus. Getting confused here because of the sponsors. Nick Ascoli, Eric Clay from the cyber threat intelligence firm Flare are coming on to talk about InfoStealer threat networks. Guys, understanding how criminal ecosystems work actually is vitally important. When you're in GRC and you're doing threat modeling, threat landscape, you need to understand how the actual threat actors operate. When you're doing security operations and you're trying to understand how info stealers detonate on boxes and what indicators of compromise look like, that is important. How do you get that information? I don't know. Maybe invest 1 hour of your time to learn from two experts in that specific space. This is cool. I also can tell you, I know Eric Clay. He's a great guy. I know Nick Ascoli. Love that guy. That guy is absolutely Simply Cyber community people through and through. So I'm super pumped to attend this talk. I will be there myself. As always, I love it when Simply Cyber community just basically death hugs webinars and events and stuff like that. So hopefully we can giddy up on that. All right. As always, I saw a super chat come in. Thank you very much, Thomas. Let me see here. Thomas Marquette with the super chat. He says, good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to share that I've accepted a role. Oh, you know what's coming. You know what's coming, Thomas Marquette in Simply Cyber community. I'm thrilled to share that I've accepted a role as an associate security analyst, transitioning from intern to full-time. Oh my God. I came in like a wrecking ball. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Dude, so happy for you, Thomas Marquette. Well done. Thank you for the super chat as well. I know that you earned that promotion. I know that you've been grinding, dude, putting in the work. This is what happens when you basically just put your head down and put in the work and crush through it. Well done, Thomas Marquette. Super happy for you. And really, I am really, really happy for you, Thomas Marquette. Not to mention, like, personally, you guys like lift my sails. I'm doing great, but like that little bit of news just elevated my emotion a little bit. So I'm greatly appreciative. I don't think you understand how much seeing that update, the super chat aside, like the update that the impact is here for community members definitely makes me feel great. All right, guys, what do we got? Okay, hey, listen. We're about to slide into the news, but first we're going to hear from ThreatLocker, and then we're going to get into the news. Look at it come up. Oh, here we go. France is going to find Google. I missed what the second story was, so I just put wild card. I think it has to do with CISA and TP links, of course. Sports piracy sites shut down. I don't even know why there's a sports piracy site. Like FanDuel and DraftKings is like legal sports gambling now. So, and so much more. Sovereign Clued. We'll get that sorted out. Let's hear from ThreatLocker while I get this sorted out. Holla. I want to give some love to the daily cyber threat brief sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. Worldwide, companies like JetBlue trust ThreatLocker to secure their data and keep their business operations flying high. ThreatLocker takes a deny-by-default approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action allowed or blocked for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation is fully supported by their US-based Cyber Hero support team. Get a free 30-day trial and learn more about how ThreatLocker can help prevent ransomware and ensure compliance. Visit threatlocker.com/dailycyber. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us all in an awesome wave. I'll see you guys at the mid-roll.
And Sheen over cookie misconduct.
All right, and for some reason, that story started mid-roll.
From the CISO series, it's cybersecurity headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, September 5th, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. France finds Google and Shein over cookie misconduct. The French Data Protection Authority, CNIL, has levied fines against the two companies of $379 million and $175 million, respectively, for violating cookie rules. The CNIL said the companies, quote, set advertising cookies on users' browsers without securing their consent, end quote. Shein is a China-based online retailer. Google is also in trouble with the French authorities for, quote, placing advertisements in the form of emails, among other emails in the promotions and social tabs of Gmail, end quote. The CNIL further says that displaying ads in this way, quote, required users' explicit consent in accordance with the French Postal and Electronic Communications Code, end quote.
All right.
CISA.
All right. Okay. So more of the same, like Google, there's a couple things here. Okay. Number one, there are certain practices that are performed that, you know, aren't legal in some countries. So this might be legal what they're doing in the United States, but in European Union, specifically France, not legal. Regulators investigated. They got hit with $379 million fine. Dude, like Ireland, France, I think Portugal was in there, Germany, like they find the crap out of these companies, Google, Meta, Amazon, like the Fortune 5 companies, your FANGs, if you will. Let's just really quickly, again, I make this point all the time. It's less cyber, it's more business. But in 2024, Google made $350 billion, okay? More than $250 billion in 1 year, all right? Looking at this, $379 million. I don't know how to, like, I don't know the math right off the top of my head, but I believe that's either 1%. I think it's not 1%. I think it might be 1,000th of 1%. Fact check me on this one, but I think it's 1,000th of 1% or 100th of 1%. Anyways, I'm not saying that a middle level manager has the authority to, like, you know, stroke a check for this one, but this doesn't upset the apple cart. Google leaders are not gathering around the war room to discuss how they're going to address this issue. They're just paying the fine. And by the way, from a pure business perspective, it makes you wonder how much money they made. This is something I always go to, old cynical Jerry. How much did they make by agreeing with this company Shine or Sheen or whatever to stick these like cookies in people's things, right? Because if they made more than $380 million, well, then that sounds like a pretty good business investment, right? You do the calculus, you're like, hey, it's like anything else. Like, oh, hey, if you, I don't know, if you set up, okay, like a perfect example, if you set up, and this is, I love using analogies. So for you, like Cyber Sheriff UK, I love using analogies to help, convey. Imagine, if you will, you're like a street performer and you have to pay, $200 for a permit, and it takes hours to wait in line, and it's a bunch of crap. And there's $1,000 fine if you get caught performing on the street in Vegas without a license. Okay, well then you just go to the Vegas Strip and you start doing your magic tricks or whatever, and you make 10 grand. Okay, well then, it's worth it. Like, dude, what's it? Like, I don't want to wait in line to get a license. I'll just do what I want to do and then pay the fine, because that's the cost of business. I suspect this is, kind of along those lines. Plus, by the way, wait, hold on. I'm used to hitting that button. You only pay if you get caught, right? So there's actually an upside to, we might even go long without getting caught. All right. So the cookie consent, I mean, this is, everybody nowadays goes to a website and you get the accept permissions, accept required, accept all, deny all. We have ad blockers, all that stuff. So this isn't really groundbreaking cyber. This is just more of shenanigans being performed by large, powerful companies to sell access to us, because basically that's what's up. By the way, for people who are like, oh, data brokers and privacy, what's the problem? Dude, you want to know what these cookies are doing? Tracking you, seeing where you're going, what you're doing. Not necessarily so they can stalk you, but so they can market to you accordingly, or, do other horrible things. And by horrible, I'll just call your attention to this and then move on. I'm going to simplycyber.io/books. There's a book in here called Careless People by Sarah Wynne Williams. It's about Facebook and their rise and kind of how their executive team just treats people. When you have cookies on people's devices tracking them, right? And you can identify that it's a young female, impressionable, who's going to sites around self-confidence and maybe makeup or whatever, and you start marketing like diet pills to them, okay? Or you're an addicted gambler who's in recovery, and the cookies can track that, and then they start selling you these like free spins on slot machines. Okay, it can get really gross and really nefarious really quickly. So that's the concern, right? But it's the problem of capitalism's fine, but like there are some downsides to it, and this would be one of them. All right, nothing really from a cyber perspective, but thank you for allowing me the opportunity to talk about this.
Adds more TP-Link routers flaws to its KEV catalog. On Wednesday, CISA added 2 more TP-Link wireless router security flaws to its known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, citing evidence of them being exploited in the wild. These flaws are different from the ones we reported on in June, although a couple of router models are listed in each. TP-Link had released firmware updates for the 2 vulnerabilities in November of last year, but they reiterate, quote, the affected products have reached their end of service and are no longer receiving active support, end quote. The vulnerabilities and their CVE numbers are available in the show notes to this episode.
All right. Hey, just really quick, Simply Cyber community, as I get more comfortable with these, this, like, I guess, news topic story thing, we'll see how I go. I was just kind of having like more professional news things, but now I'm having some fun with it, like TP-Link, brah. All right, so TP-Link, if you guys don't remember, TP-Link is the technology company that is kind of embroiled with the United States, in that they believe that China, it's produced in China, China's putting some type of nefarious elements to it and then selling it on Amazon below cost. So consumers will be very financially incentivized to purchase TP links, which would result in a wide network of resources for the Chinese government in the event that they need them. I am not aware of any specific like backdoors being baked into these TP links devices, although you could argue that that would be a little overt, but just having like kind of code that has 0 days and vulnerable elements to the software stack would be much more elegant and sophisticated. It's interesting. Actually, this is like grant me a moment here really quickly, because this is a hot take that I'm developing like in the moment, right? This just occurred to me. So when we, I said TP Link brought, like we see TP Link and other things like QNAP and Zixel and Fortinet having vulnerabilities constantly. If I was sophisticated, if I was crude, I would just put a backdoor in or an API function that no one's heard of, undocumented, in my devices, and then sell them. And now I've got this kind of baked in backdoor. Think of like malicious USB devices or applications with backdoors baked in, right? Well, if you're sophisticated, you can rip the firmware out and see a backdoor. You can rip the firmware out and see a undocumented admin account. If you were trying to be sophisticated, you could just write crap code that has vulnerabilities like buffer overflows or heap overflows or SQL injection or cross-site script or whatever, right? And then your cyber team or whatever is made aware of these things, and they basically have baked in 0-day capability before the product even leaves the station. That's actually quite clever. I'm not accusing TP-Link or any of these vendors of that. What I am saying is it is an interesting idea, because when they get discovered, like these ones right here, when they get discovered, you can be like, oh my God, look at that, a vulnerability. Who would have known? Like, good thing we found it. But the level of difficulty to discover those 0 days is higher. And the threat actor government starts on third base, basically, because they are working alongside the developers to know that these flaws are baked into the code. Just a theory. That's incredibly a tinfoil hat concept. Okay. Old tinfoil hat. It is interesting though, to say the least. Also, again, just to reinforce that this show, like, we cover macro cyber as well as micro cyber. So yes, I'll tell you, you're going to have to patch your TP links, and vulnerability management is hard, and we can get into all that. But also at the macro level, some of these companies, the United States is about to do this as well with NVIDIA. Some of these countries have a financial stake in the company themselves, right? And I'm not making this up. Like, the United States is now talking to NVIDIA about getting 10% of like profit margin to allow them like a permit to sell into China and all this other stuff. It's a cash play, right?
Great cash.
But my point is, if you kind of have a 10% vested interest in the company, I think you might have some influence. I know in China, some of the larger tech companies require a high-ranking government official on their board of directors. So all the elements are there for this concept that I just pitched. And again, I haven't heard anyone suggest this. So if someone has heard this, please let me know so I don't claim it as my own hot take. But I'm not the smartest person in the room for sure. So I guarantee you smarter people have figured this out.
World's largest sports piracy site shut down.
Or goes
the
out of
Alliance
business.
for Creativity and Entertainment, working with police in Egypt, have closed down Stream East, the world's largest destination for illegal streams of live sports events. The site had been visited more than 1.6 billion times in the last year and offered access to pirated streams of events such as professional soccer, Formula One races, and Major League Baseball. 2 men were arrested in a town outside Cairo. Along with laptops believed to operate the sites, police also, quote, found links to a shell company in the United Arab Emirates, which had allegedly been used to launder £4 million worth of advertising revenue since 2010, as well as £150,000 in cryptocurrency, end quote.
Wow. All right. So I thought this was sports betting. It's not. It's actually sports streaming. So, I'm actually, well, first of all,
Regulators, mount up.
okay, so bunch of things here. I'm not gonna point at anyone, all right, and I'm just gonna say, I'm disclosing this for a friend. When you want to see your game and it's blacked out in your local market, or you didn't pay for the NFL Sunday ticket, or you're into Formula One racing and the Monaco race isn't like being televised, you immediately go online and look for these streaming services. And while there's tons of options, I do feel like they all kind of bubble up to like maybe 2 or 3 players in the space. I did not know. I mean, I guess you could pay to get better streams, better access, and all those things, but there's definitely a huge market for this. Also, I have heard, I don't have this technology, but I'm very aware of like these basically these Amazon Fire Sticks that are preloaded with like basically cracked everything so you can access all the things. I've heard about these online. Again, I'm assuming that they're legit. So distribution, DMCA, which I know is 25 years old, but my point is, this is content that people own, and these piracy sites are making it accessible, robbing the content owners of their, revenues. Okay. Now, if you're pirating it so you don't pay, that's different than pirating it if you can't access it in your market. They're both legal, of course, but that's what's up. So this company, these two guys or whatever, 1.6. Oh, hold on. I thought I saw $60 billion. Yeah. Sports broadcasting is worth $60 billion. Okay. NFL contracts. ESPN just got acquired by Disney or something, or Disney acquired the NFL media rights. So, dude, there's like lots of money as we get this whole news show today is more like social issues than it is cyber issues, but everybody's cutting the cord. Streaming's the whole thing. I mean, how many streaming services do you have that you're like, why do I pay for these things? And the access to piracy is huge. Also, I want to point out, at least in the United States, we're getting really, really close to like a 2-tier economy where there's like lower, like basically under 100,000 and over 100,000 annual revenue income for families or households, and what that is looking like. Ask me like off stream or whatever about it. Some really interesting research coming out of McDonald's, the food company of all places, about what they're seeing in their business. Very high indicator of interest. Okay, let me try to keep this on. What are we doing here? All right. So, I mean, I guess I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's no information here. Basically, law enforcement took down the infrastructure for these illegal streaming sites. That's it. Okay.
SAP invests in sovereign cloud infrastructure in Europe. The global enterprise software giant, headquartered in Germany, says it will invest 20 billion euros into, quote, expanding sovereign cloud infrastructure in Europe over the next 10 years, pitching itself as a secure and compliant alternative to American cloud giants, end quote. This move is intended to help provide sovereign infrastructure for the public sector and regulated environments. However, some within the organization, including CEO Christian Klein, disagree with the initiative, favoring a focus on using AI to improve manufacturing and other processes for its customers. Huge thanks to
All right, so check it out. We do have some German members in the chat. SAP, which is like, here's the thing. SAP used to be huge. Like in the 80s when we were talking about enterprise resource planning and ERP solutions and consolidation and, like big business and all that, SAP was huge. Okay. And then it wasn't. So SAP has still got tons of money. They're still doing tons of things. But when you think of cloud, everybody here, I don't care. This isn't even a guess. Everybody thinks of AWS and Azure, right? And then Google Compute is kind of a second, although Google Compute is coming on pretty strong. Those are your big three. Then, if you didn't know, like Oracle and SAP and IBM are kind of like a distant, third or whatever. But they do have cloud infrastructure, cloud solutions, and they are trying to offer these things. And that's what's up. So all this is right here is SAP investing heavily in basically a European sovereign cloud. So think of the United States with GovCloud for Azure, right? FedRAMP certified and stuff, GovCloud. At the end of the day, cloud is awesome. But if you think about it, it's like an apartment building, right? And our business, like let's say Simply Cyber lives in room 204 or apartment 204, and then Anti-Siphon's in apartment 203, right? We have our own kitchenettes, we have our own bedrooms, but we share a common mail room. We share a common front door security guard. We share a common parking lot, a common fire suppression system, right? And that's the benefit. We don't have to pay for our own security guard or fire suppression system. We share the burden with other people, just like how an apartment building works and the appeal of it, right? That's what cloud is. It allows us to get access to great resources, be elastic, scale up, scale down, and all that other stuff because we're sharing that hardware infrastructure with other tenants, right? I mean, that's literally why the term tenant is used. The problem is in cloud, I could technically, you're not supposed to be able to, but I could technically take a wrecking ball and crash it through the wall and go into Anti-Siphon's apartment, right? Or, in the stake of cloud, I could break in and go into someone else's tenant and get access to resources and stuff. And the way that we get peace of mind and additional security controls is by having a separate apartment building for these higher sensitive instances. So that's what GovCloud is. GovCloud is like a separate apartment building for government, tenants only. It costs more money for the cloud infrastructure provider, but the reason is that they can now turn around and sell it and say, listen, you absolutely don't have to worry about anything because we're only allowing federal government clients into this thing. So the risk is reduced of, kind of this tenant cross access. That's what SAP is doing right now. And they're actually pointing it to Trump 2.0 rhetoric. I mean, I'm not going to get political, obviously, but if you've been looking at what's going on with the global economies, the global markets, the global vibes, European Union is really beginning to, lots of people are beginning to say like, oh, hey, let's party without the United States. And in one of those instances, SAP is trying to take this. Basically, SAP is making a $20 billion bet that this is going to be something that businesses want. A sovereign cloud, which basically means dedicated to EU only in the future. That's it. If you work in Europe, and this is something you should be aware of in case it becomes a key differentiator in winning a project, a contract, anything like that.
our sponsor, ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker is a global leader in zero-trust endpoint security, offering cybersecurity controls to protect businesses from zero-day attacks and ransomware. ThreatLocker operates with a default deny approach to reduce the attack surface and mitigate potential cyber vulnerabilities. To learn more and to start your free trial, visit threatlocker.com/CISO. That is THREATLOCKER.com/CISO.
All right, mid-roll. If you're a first timer, get some of this. Oh yeah, loving it, loving it, loving it. I hope you guys are having a great show. It's 8:35. We are doing the thing. Guys, I do want to say thank you to all of you. Definitely one of the highlights of my day is doing this show with this community. I definitely enjoy it. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you to the stream sponsors for sponsoring and enabling me to do this show. Barricade Cyber, Threat Locker, Anti-Siphon, and Delete Me. Definitely go to the links in the description and click on them. Check out our sponsors. We definitely, I'm the one who validates them. You don't just email and I take your money and you get on the list. Like I have to believe in the companies and the people behind them for them to become sponsors. So consider them pre-screened by me. Let's talk about Delete Me for a hot minute, guys. Delete Me makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. It's easier than ever to find personal information about people online. Having your address, phone number, and family members' names hanging out on the internet can have actual consequences in the real world and make everyone vulnerable. As someone with an active online presence, privacy is really important to me. I use Delete Me. I'm happy for it. I have a wife, I have children, I have a home, I have dogs, I do things in my community, and I'm happy to share my information, like how to get a hold of me or, where to meet up with me, but I want to choose who gets that information. I don't think it's appropriate that data brokers can also choose who gets that information for just a couple bucks. So, Delete Me helps manage that risk. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for Delete Me now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber and use promo code simplycyber at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/simplycyber and enter code simplycyber at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/simplycyber, code simplycyber. Every single day of the week has a special segment, and I am very happy that on Fridays, my friend James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet does dad jokes of the day. Now, I want everyone to know that literally James sends me pictures every time he was yesterday on a plane. It's not a joke. It's not a gag. That is seat 3B, James McQuiggan, flying at 35,000 feet. Also, he wanted to share this. He was in Alaska and took this photo live outside. He said it was negative 30 degrees out and brutal, but look at that. Holy crap. Aurora Borealis for the win. All right, so let's get our dad jokes out. So get ready to groan, people. All right. With being in Alaska with the mountains here are some mountainous dad jokes. What happened to the man who tried collecting the mountain fog? What happened to the man who tried collecting the mountain fog? Well, he missed. He missed. Oh, my God. He missed. Why are mountains like dad jokes? I don't know, James. Why are mountains like dad jokes? Because they're both hill areas. Whew, that one is a rough one, boy. And James says, why can't you play hide and seek with mountains? Why can't you play hide and seek with mountains? People in Colorado definitely know this. The reason you can't play hide and seek with people in the mountains, because they always peek. They always peek. All right. Thank you, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. Ladies and gentlemen, you know the words. Let it wash over you. Makes you feel good. If you're really feeling yourself, let your head nod and say la, 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 la out loud. All right, let's keep cooking, everybody. Back half of the show.
House panel votes to extend cyber programs. The House Homeland Security Committee, quote, voted 25-0 to approve the Widespread Information Management for the Welfare of Infrastructure and Government Act, which is a 10-year extension of the 2015 Cybersecurity Information Sharing Act. This act, quote, provides incentives for private entities to voluntarily share digital threat intelligence with the federal government, end quote. In addition, the panel voted 21-1 to reauthorize the state and local cybersecurity grant program, which gives money to local governments to improve their posture against cyber threats. It remains unclear if lawmakers will be able to pass both bills before an end-of-the-month deadline. Both statutes are slated to expire on September 30th without congressional action.
All right. I mean, this is really cool. Hopefully this deadline and the voting doesn't get impacted. But, you know, this is basically an extension. It's kind of funny. They gave it a new name. But it's basically just a reauthorization of an existing program. The program is essentially a public-private sector partnership of threat intelligence sharing. The U.S. government gets targeted all the time. Private sector has tons of telemetry. So, you know, like think of CISA's known exploited vulnerability catalog. This is like a very TLP clear public exposure of known issues. But there's also TLP Amber, TLP Red, TLP Shut the F Up, right? And that's where this threat intelligence stuff goes. As you can see, there is massive value in it. When the people who are in charge of it vote 25-0 on extending the program, that's, you know, when was the last time you saw anything in the U.S. government get voted unanimously, right? Again, not a political show. The other thing that they talked about was extending financial relief or, you know, investment to state and local governments for their cyber programs. Now, as somebody who lives in the state of South Carolina, and I do work and know the people at SCCIC, which is SCCIC, which is the South Carolina Critical Infrastructure Cybersecurity Group under the law enforcement division, under SLED. They basically go out, do awareness, they do incident response. They do some other things for state and local governments in the state of South Carolina. It's dynamite. It's actually, in my opinion, SCCIC should be a model for other states. But those people don't work for free. Like, the mission is righteous, but it costs money. When you get punched in the mouth and you're responding to an incident, it's not free, right? Wastewater. Where's my Justin Gold action? Wastewater gets hit, right? If you deploy incident responders, just at the surface, okay? At the surface, they have to sleep somewhere. They have to eat something. They have to have tech, right? So these things cost money. Like, I know we can all be like, oh, hey, everybody, let's band together to solve the problem. But like, not paying for hotels, not paying for food, like those businesses would go out of business, right? So financial aid and to be able to support states in their ability to do response and to help reduce cyber risk is hugely valuable. And personally, I'm happy to hear that that is being extended. Now, if you're a regular of the show, you know that I will typically dig into the details of these financial programs and then make fun of them, because it'll be like, oh, each state gets $10,000. And it's like, oh, cool. Like, that'll last all of about, 18 minutes. You know what I mean? So like, sometimes it just sounds good. Like, oh, financial aid for states. But then when you dig into the details, it's like, it's more window dressing and a re-election campaign bullet than it is actually valuable. But I digress. I don't know if this is true or not in this particular instance, but I do know that they voted to approve it. So let's go. Let's go. Dude, governments, for real though, if you work in a government agency in any way, this is great news for you. You should, basically your boss, your CISO, your CIO, the Jason Walters, the guy who was on Wednesday talking about that job for director of networking and IT, he should know about this, right? You should get your money, okay?
Straight cash, homie.
Nothing shameful. If there's government programs to give you money, you should giddy up on it, right? Go full Teddy KGB on it. Get this man his money.
TC fines toy manufacturer for allowing data collection. This past Tuesday, the Justice Department filed a complaint against China-based toy manufacturer Apitor, that is A-P-I-T-O-R, alleging that the maker of robot toys, quote, allowed a third party in China to collect children's geolocation data without the consent of their parents, end quote.
Scum.
This follows a complaint from the Federal Trade Commission stating that Apitor's privacy policy said that it complied with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Rule, that's the COPPA rule, when in reality it did not. The company's product includes a mobile app that kids can use to control the robot toys. Apitor requires users with Android devices to allow location sharing in order to use the toy's companion app. Atlassian to buy...
Okay. Dude, I hate when I want to show an effing meme and it wants me to download it. I mean, I can do this. It's an extra couple clicks and it bothers me. Like it actually bothers me. I should be able to click on this and see it. Okay. Because now you can't even see the animation. I want to see the animation. Ugh. Sorry. You're going to have to watch me do this. It's worth it though. Here's how I feel when I see... Oh, come on. Well, I guess this is fine. I wanted the desk clearing thing, but this is it. So manufacturer, it doesn't matter that they're Chinese. I don't even care about that in this instance. Okay. Toy manufacturer, a company literally fully focused on making product for children, are collecting data on children and overtly lying about collecting data on children. We literally have laws in this country protecting kids from this type of behavior. And this company said, oh yeah, no, we're definitely following the rules. This is a breakdown in an administrative control and an assessment of that control. When you say, oh, hey, it says here that you guys have to comply with this regulation. Are you doing it? Yes or no? Yes. Check. Approved. That is some lazy A auditing. This is just, you suck, man. Like this company, like overtly lying. And of course, it's like, here's my thing. They're already selling the product. They're already selling the product. So if it was all about straight cash, homie. If it was all about straight cash, you already made the money. So why are you collecting information on children? You psychos. Like this is like, obviously it's to do something with the data, right? You don't just collect data for the sake of it, excuse me. Sorry. For the sake of it, right? Ages 6 to 14. I have 2 kids ages 6 to 14. If they were being tracked on their phone, I say that, but like I can track my kids right now. I can pull up an app and see where my kids are, but I know that. I opted into that. I've made the permissions to ensure that I can do that for safety and protection, not some random company that's decided that they are going to overtly lie. And you know what really grinds my gears, family guys? $500,000 fine. Oh, thanks. Do you like, where's that money going? Is my kid's data going to be expunged from your databases? No, probably not. And even if it is, I have no trust in this company. This company's like, oh yeah, no, we expunged the data. Like we got the $500,000 fine. We deleted the data. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. You lied about tracking the kids in the first place. So why should I believe that you would delete the data? You burnt. Okay. It makes me wonder how many other apps are doing this for real. Okay. $500,000 penalty. Eat a D. And here's my thing. Getting deeper into this. Okay. Remember this one right here? Where's my Google story? Google fined $379 million. Okay, let's revisit this story. Remember I made the comment that if Google made more than $379 million by selling the data that they collected by tracking those individual users, then it's a win from a capitalism perspective. Fast forward, this toy manufacturer, I don't know why they were collecting kids' data. I don't agree with it. I think it's a deplorable practice, especially when you overtly lie about it. But if they made more money than $500,000, which is what their fine is, then, dude, whoever the account manager is at the toy manufacturer companies, probably getting a bonus. Nice job. Nice job, Charles. You know, you had the idea of tracking the kids and overtly lying about it. I was kind of on the fence about it, but we sold that data and made $18 million, and it only cost us $500,000 to deal with. Really, dude, can more people be like Charles? Like, look at him. This is what we're doing here. Thinking of the business, making money, just dynamite work, Charles. That's what I'm saying. You have to penalize these people. Like, how about you can't sell product in the United States anymore? How's that for a game? Huh? It's bulk.
The browser company to reshape browsers. Australian productivity software maker Atlassian, best known for its Jira software, has agreed to acquire the browser company, which manufactures two browsers, Arc, spelled A-R-C, and a new AI-enhanced browser named Dia, spelled D-I-A. The acquisition is for $610 million in cash. Mike Cannon-Brookes, Atlassian's CEO and co-founder, described in a statement Atlassian's intention to, quote, create an AI-powered browser optimized for the many SaaS applications living in tabs, one that knowledge workers will love to use every day, end quote. The browser company will continue to work independently, but the acquisition will allow for the browser to ship features faster and support multiple platforms.
All right.
SaaS company.
All right. So a couple things here. Number one, just like on the surface, like for mere mortals like us, and if there are superpowers people in the chat, please just know that this doesn't apply to you. But for mere mortals like me, like paying cash for a house would be insane. Paying cash for a new car would be insane. Like walking up and just dumping, $100,000 cash, like a duffel bag. You know what I mean? Like just like, nom. Can you guys break a $10,000 bill here? That's insane. This company went into a meeting, and again, I'm being silly for the sake of the story, but it's essentially what they did. This company went into a meeting with a duffel bag with $610 million in cash and bought this other company. That is an insane flex. That's insane. Okay. Now, let's move on from that. Later priceless pancake. In the 90s or early 90s, the late 90s, like starting around 95, 96, right? I know it was the .com boom, but like websites started cropping up before that. Okay. Like Yahoo was like one of the first big ones. Alta Vista was pretty big. And at the time, Netscape Navigator came out. It changed the game. Like Netscape Navigator, this is a history lesson, I guess we're going to do for a minute here. Netscape Navigator was essentially unlocked the web. The whole reason of like the .com boom and the way we live life today was primarily because of Netscape Navigator. And to give you a parallel, AI has been around for a long time. When ChatGPT made a front end with a text field that you could type in to query AI in 2023, that's when AI exploded. So we're living in this AI everything world right now. But if you remember, ChatGPT's, that little text field where you could engage it, that's what unlocked and turned this into a race. Netscape Navigator did the same thing for like the internet and browsing, and it started the browser war. Okay, Microsoft took a huge offense. Microsoft got wicked pissy and introduced Internet Explorer as a direct competitor, and there was a browser war. In fact, if you go look at why it's called TLS, even though it's SSL, like it has to do with all of this nonsense and how much vitriol Microsoft has for Netscape. All right. Now that we've had our lesson, let me talk about this for a minute. This looks like it's going to be a straight up browser war going forward. We are using AI all over the place, and we need, like I've said it multiple times publicly, like if you're not using AI, you're definitely going to be left behind. And I think this is going to create a new browser war. Now, I will say this. Atlassian, they've got huge cojones, all right? I think this is a lot of, let me make this more gender neutral. I think Atlassian is taking a huge gamble here. I think that this is a big move. They have the capital to do it, but Google owns Chrome, which has a huge market share. Firefox has huge market share. I guess, Edge has some market share. They are going to be able to move very quickly to compete directly with what Atlassian's doing. They have the financial capital and the people to be able to compete directly. So Atlassian attempting to unseat the current incumbents on what is like the browser most people are using because of this AI thing is going to be interesting. And they have the money to like market it and compete. So we'll see if this turns into a browser war again, but it's a whole thing. Dude, it would be like a company trying to invent a new cola, right? To compete with Pepsi and Coke, right? RC Cola is delicious. I don't really drink soda, but like when I do, I like RC Cola. But like even with RC Cola's background and everything, they've never been like a mainstream. And I feel like that's what Atlassian's attempting to do here. So I wish them luck. Yes, I know Comment's there. Even Comment, like someone sent me an early access to Comment. I downloaded it and installed it, and then I never used it. So like there's a lot of friction to changing people's behaviors with browsers.
Workiva discloses data breach. Representatives of the company, spelled Workiva, state that attackers gained access to a third-party customer relationship management system and stole some of their data. Workiva's customer list contains some of the biggest names, including Google, T-Mobile, Delta, Wayfair, Hershey, Slack, Santander, Nokia, Kraft Heinz, Wendy's, Paramount, Air France, KLM, Mercedes-Benz, and more. According to Bleeping Computer, quote, threat actors exfiltrated a limited set of business contact information, including names, email addresses, phone numbers, and support ticket content, end quote. Bleeping Computer has learned that this incident was, quote, part of the recent wave of Salesforce data breaches linked to the Shiny Hunters extortion group that impacted many high-profile companies, end quote. As usual, we've got a busy...
Yeah. So, whatever. I mean, like, guys, like, at this point, we're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic. Like, oh, look, it looks different. No, like, this is the Salesforce data breach. We know what the data sets were in there. It's CRM data, contact information, how often you touch, maybe if you spent money or whatever. And I would like to point out, since I'm a big supply chain security nerd right now. Right? This is another example. I have, I wouldn't be able to pull it up instantly like that, but this is one of those ones where even if you did a data governance, third-party vendor risk management program, okay? And I know I'm getting deep in the weeds in the GRC stuff, and the GRC mafia people are like, oh my God, let it wash over me. Oh, it's so good talking about data governance and supply chain risk. Believe me, that's why you come to the Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Ain't nobody else giving GRC its flowers. Okay, so check it out. Even if you do a third-party risk assessment, right, and you looked at Workiva, which I never heard of, right, Workiva, and Workiva's got all the best security, all the best. Everything's the best at Workiva. Sweet. You don't know that behind Workiva, they've decided based on their risk assessment and their GRC practices that they're going to use Salesforce. Now, again, Salesforce is a top tier, super enterprise solution that nobody is going to say no to, right? So like, just bear with me on this one. But you, like, let's say Marcus Kyler's company, right, is like, oh, we're going to use Workiva. Marcus Kyler does the risk assessment. He's like, Workiva's great. You're still taking on risk because of Salesforce, which would not come up in your risk assessment. And by the way, I bet you Salesforce uses some parties to execute on their mission that you wouldn't know about, right? Like Salesforce, for example, they probably use AWS or Microsoft Azure, right? Like the Salesforce is definitely on some cloud platform. They're definitely not running it in a private data center, I promise you. All right. So now Marcus Kyler's company uses Workiva. Workiva uses Salesforce. Salesforce uses AWS. And let's just pretend AWS has a third-party breach because of a contractor that they hired to do a project, right? It's so far down the supply chain that it's like literally in the dark, right? We know that we've got a flashlight on our first tier away from us. We use Workiva, or we use Microsoft Office, or we use this product. One layer deeper, we can ask, who are you using? What technology stacks do you use, et cetera, et cetera. And we can see it, but the light's dimmer that next tier down. And then a third tier down, our flashlight doesn't even get there. Do you understand what I'm saying? There's risk that you take on that even if you're the best professional in the world, you're not even going to see, right? And don't even get me started. No one is trying to get me started, but I've got a straw man argument here. Don't even get me started on SBOMs, okay? Software bill of materials. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Oh, I see you're using Apache. Very nice. But the SBOM isn't going to go further down the track and say what the Apache web server, what libraries are they inheriting? What modules did they import from a GitHub repo or something like that? You picking up what I'm putting down? So supply chain risk, it's wicked hard. Manage your risk through data governance practices, your ability to be resilient, and other things. But like, yeah, whatever. Like Workiva, like there's more that's going to come out, dudes, right? Like this is probably not the first, like insert new company name here that was impacted because they are a middleman or middle. I don't even know if that's politically correct anymore, but like basically there's customers, then there's businesses, and then there's Salesforce. Some people go directly to Salesforce. Some people go through businesses that add value, enrich data, whatever they do. And they are now basically like middle managers. They're suffering because of something they didn't do, and their customers are getting hosed. Okay. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right. By the way, can I just say, like, I really, this broadcast, episode 957, September 5th, it started off with a couple stories that felt not cybery and whatever. And then it just devolved into like Hot Mess Express. Whoops. Hold on one second. We got to get the Skyline scroller because I got a lot to tell you guys. There it is. Ooh, holla, holla, holla. Want everyone to know that this was Simply Cyber's Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Got a little spicy. If it was your first time today, I hope you come back. It was a pretty typical show, minus the audio issues. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Don't go anywhere because we are going to pivot to Jawjacking. Jawjacking is a 30-minute AMA show where we answer all your questions. We'll do a panel because it's Friday, which is phenomenal. I love this community. I hope you guys had a great show. I certainly did. Don't go anywhere. I'll take it from here. Until next time, stay secure. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jawjacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jawjacking. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jawjacking. I'm Dr. Gerald Auger. I'm going to be doing Jawjacking today. Wait, no, what is it? What's up, everybody? Enough of that guy. I'm Jerry Guy. This is Jawjacking. We're getting straight to business. We're going to be joined on panel by my friends, Daniel Lowry. There he is, my man.
What's up? What's going on, Jerry?
I love it. And we're going to be joined. He's been quite busy lately, so we haven't seen him, but he's back and ready for action. Fleetus posting the third. Hey, Fleetus.
Good morning, everyone.
Awesome. All right. So here's the rules, everyone. If you have questions, drop them in chat. Hold on. I see the first question about bingo. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we'll answer all your questions. So drop a question in chat with a Q, and we'll let you know how it goes. So today was the first Friday of the month. Typically, first Fridays, we do bingo during the daily cyber threat brief. I did not do the bingo today, only because the bingo cards really do need to be updated. We've got like some of our fun things have kind of slid to the left. Like Jen Easterly isn't really mentioned as often in the news. So like if she's on your bingo card, you're probably not going to get that bingo card. So that needs to be updated. And just honestly, I'm quite overwhelmed with work right now. I am planning a conference, which is quite a bit of work, and I've got a bunch of client work. So anyways, I punted on bingo. But we are doing an AMA live on Discord today at 1 p.m., I believe. I think it's 1. Hold on one second. I will confirm that. It is 1 p.m. today in the Simply Cyber Discord servers. Come on. It's basically just like Jawjacking, except it's not recorded. It's not streamed. So you can be a little bit more vulnerable if that's your thing. So really quick. Let's go around the horn. Fleetus, we haven't seen you in a hot minute. I did see you on social medias. A great picture of your family. A great picture of your new work or some new work you're doing. Give us 30 seconds. How's Fleetus doing?
Yeah, so took a part-time adjunct position with Appalachian State, teaching an AI business system cybersecurity class. Was doing some SANS work last Friday, so I wasn't here, as well as giving an talk for the Anti-Siphon Blue Team Summit. So that's where I've been the last couple of weeks.
I love it.
All is kicked off.
Engaging and contributing. Thank you very much. And Daniel Lowry, tell us 30 seconds. What's your update? How you cooking?
Oh man, I'm cooking. I am coming into the station with the Pentest Plus that I've been working on. So that's going to be awesome. I'm in all the most difficult things where you have to build a bunch of stuff so you could demo something small. It's like, oh, I got to build 3 things of infrastructure just to show this one thing. So I can't wait to get that done. I'm really excited to have that available for everybody out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, that's where I'm at.
I love it. Bruce and Hacks asked the question here if there'll be beta testing of the Pentest Plus course. I mean, if you're any courses going to Simply Cyber Academy do have a beta tester phase to it. I don't know if Daniel's doing any beta testing outside of that, but Daniel, any thoughts on this?
I hadn't even thought about that, to be honest with you. I've done it so many times. I didn't even think that I would need to beta test something, honestly. And maybe that's hubris. That could be that right there.
Okay. Well, we if it goes to the academy, which is what Daniel and I have been talking about, there will be some opportunity there. So for sure, we'll take care of it. That's part of the value of the academy. Right. All right. So somebody, I don't see any questions in chat right now. Oh my God. Space Tacos wants to know when I'll be interviewing Jen Easterly. Well, you know, she's at Huntress now, and I have friends at Huntress, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to call in that favor. Like, hey, can you know what I mean? Like one day, Space Tacos will get it. We had Michelle Kahn on yesterday. We're going to be having Joe Marshall and others pretty soon. So, all right, let me throw some questions to you. So, Fleetus, we talk about regularly contributing to the network, putting yourself out there. You've been doing a lot of like webinars, anti-casts, Blue Team Summits. You're now at App State as adjunct faculty. Have you seen any kind of impacts or anything coming out of some of these efforts you've been putting in so people can realize that there is actual material things that come from these efforts?
Yeah, so to be honest, a lot of it has been self-edifying for myself. It's forced me to dive into some topics that I've suppressed. I've talked about on here a few times. It's nice to be a novice again. It's nice to pretend like I don't know something and force myself to go back and figure out how I could explain something in a way that may be eye-opening to someone else, where it's just common knowledge to me, but it's not common to them. So that's been nice to be a refresher, to go back and talk about my journey from IT to Blue Team, which is the talk I did, getting in with app students again, who it's a mix of sophomores through seniors, and helping them understand to be honest, a lot of it's just getting back into something that I needed to do anyways, which is AI agents. I do have a talk that will drop on Monday around AI agents in traditional automation. So that'll hit my channel at 12:30 on Monday. But it was related to a topic we talked in class last week of helping them understand how agentic AI and AI agents are here to stay and how they're going to augment traditional automation, as well as just help us with the human centric side, which you guys know I love to talk about the human side of anything, how AI, which was one of my anti-cast I did a while back as well. So that's what's been coming out of it, is me reflecting and sharpening some skills as well as refreshing some common knowledge. And hopefully next week I'll be able to announce something else, as there's something else in the works as well.
Oh my God. All right. So just Fleet is posting, dropping update bombs left, right, and center. I love it. Happy for you. And please, people in chat, like, again, I always tell people, I can't promise you, like, you do X, Y, and Z and you'll get this result, right? Like the specific result, like, oh, if you do these 3 things, you'll get a job. Or if you do these 2 things, you'll be asked to do a webinar or something. But if you just do the things, I'm telling you, they will in some way manifest into these opportunities. You just have to, put it out there. Really quick, Nerman asks if we're going to be going out for drinks after the Simply CyberCon this year. Yes, we will. Simply CyberCon's November 2nd and 3rd this year. And November 3rd, we are doing it. I will tell you, this is crazy, guys. Like, I have been hounding this local bar that I want to have the after party at. Hounding. I said, we don't even have to like own your bar that night. You can open it up to the public, but like, we're going to be bringing like 100 people and it's not that big a bar. I said, I just want you to be aware, like, can you put extra staff on? Can I pre-buy a bar tab or whatever? And they just like, they're terrible about getting back to me. It's like, it blows my mind as a business owner when people were like, take my money. And they're just like, no, I'm good. No, it blows my mind, dude. I'm trying to throw a party here. And then I'm like having to chase people down and give them money. Kills me.
Shut up and take my money, right?
Seriously. All right. Hey, Daniel, Kevin1059 says, is CCNA a good secondary skill set to go along with GRC, or is there a better pairing for GRC?
I don't know about a better pairing. I mean, that's probably going to be a one size fits one solution as far as like a better pairing. That's very subjective. So it's going to be specific to the job roles you're looking at. But CCNA is a phenomenal secondary skill. It's so funny to me. I was completely ignorant of this fact, but apparently a lot of people do not understand networking like almost at all. Yeah. And that is a weird thing to me. Like, to me, that's like, hold on. How are you getting into cyber? How are you getting into like, and kind of moving into that vein? You do not understand something as fundamental to how computers and networks talk and operate and work together as just the fundamentals of networking. It blows my mind. So if you had CCNA level knowledge and experience, that is going to set you head and shoulders above a lot of people nowadays to be able to talk about and answer those questions about how do I get these two networks to talk and work? And then you can better answer those questions when it comes to GRC about how are we doing that securely? Are we making that happen? And in what ways is that effective? And you start working down the rabbit hole of the security side of stuff. But if you don't even know how it fundamentally connects and what goes on underneath the hood, you're going to be lost. You're not going to be able to put the pieces together very effectively. And that's going to make you less effective at your job and less valuable. So yes, I would say CCNA is a phenomenal way of building a secondary skill set for GRC.
I love it. Thank you. Alice has a question. Fleetus, for you.
Before we go there, we had in the chat, CCNA is Cisco Certified Network Certification. Someone asked in the chat what CCNA is. We use an acronym without defining it again.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, CCNA is Cisco's entry-level certificate for understanding networks. It's a very technical, the test is hands-on practical exam. It's the only cert I ever failed. I took it a second time and earned it. So just so everybody knows. But yeah, I didn't realize it was I was such a arrogant D, like in my younger days, like not arrogant, but like, I was like, oh, I can pass this. Like I'm
all
good.
The confidence of an 18-year-old boy, right?
Yeah. So I just like scheduled and went sat for it. And I was like, oh Jesus, this is not what I thought. And I was like, so then I just failed. And then I left and like actually went and prepared correctly and then got it. So anyways, yeah. All right, Fleetus. Alice has a question here. Recommendations for new people who want to get involved in the cons, but may not have company paying for them. And how do they prioritize?
So there's a lot of cheap and low cost conferences out there. Most of those are your B-sides. There's B-sides pretty much in every major city. Other conferences or networking groups you can get involved in is your CISSA, your CI. There's all the industry-based. Look for chapters-based communities in your area. Then you've got the DEF CON chapters or other things you can get involved if you're on the offensive side. And the best way is just to volunteer. You've heard us talk about that. Just sign up as a volunteer. Most of the time, they comp your ticket for X amount of hours of service, and you're just responsible for travel and expenses. So if you need to move, fly it somewhere else. Other thing is virtual cons. SANS puts out summits. TCM puts out stuff. Anti-Siphon. Just attend these virtual events. Get your name out there. Learn from them, and you don't have to pay for a lot of these. And if you do pay, to pay what you pay with you can is another popular thing right now. So attend those when you can.
100%. And ask around. I'd also encourage you, Alice, like, I mean, you're here in this community right now. So like you're already here, but like ask around what cons are good. Like I literally, the reason I bring this up is because I guess I'm so naive when it comes to certain things. Like I was on I attended an event yesterday. Okay. Really quick. And it was called Eventapalooza. And it's basically like a Shark Tank, and you get 60 seconds and you get to pitch your conference to a bunch of marketing people for cyber companies. And you tell them about the event and they follow up with you on whether they want to sponsor you. You guys may or may not know, I've been like really carrying the water here for Simply CyberCon, and getting the sponsors has been my main focus right now. And we have almost covered our expenses to be able to provide this great conference and only charge people $20, right? So, but it's a lot of money. And when I stayed for these pitches, right? It was an hour of pitches. So tons and tons of pitches. And some of these conferences, I'm not going to name any names, and more power to them because it's America and capitalism. But some of them, it's like vendor booths are $70,000 and there's no talks. There's no booths. To me, it seems almost like a very thinly veiled cash grab, right? Where it's just like, oh, like we'll bring in CISOs and they'll sit and talk to your company. And it's like, all right. So anyways, I don't think that particular conference would bring value to me. And I probably wouldn't encourage other people to go to a conference like that specific one. There were really great conferences also pitched, in addition to some of the ones that I didn't think were so valuable. So just, Alice, make sure that you're looking at the ones, asking around, finding out what the value is for all of those. I don't want you to waste your time or your money.
The other thing too is colleges have started to put on some of them too. So like here in Charlotte, University of Charlotte, so UNC Charlotte holds a cyber symposium. So they have an event. FutureCon, for people who haven't noticed, are started making more and more city visits. So FutureCons are another one you can look at. They're low cost to get into, especially if you're a practitioner. So just to Jerry's point, ask around, learn who's going where, and follow people. Follow them. Hey, can I join you the next time? Can you tell me the next time you're going to a conference and let me go with you? You're in Simply Cyber. We talk about conferences in our Discords, and we'll let you know when we're going places. So it'd be nice to say, hey, can we meet in real life or can we meet virtually, and just follow up with people and figure out where they're going. You don't have to go to DEF CON. You don't have to go to RSA. You don't have to go to Black Hat.
This is that video Fleetus was mentioning just a few minutes ago, the rise of AI agents beyond traditional automation. I'm going to go ahead and share this in chat with everybody. So go check that out. It won't be until September 8th. So you've got some time to get in front of it. All right. We've got a bunch of questions queued up. So I'm going to be attacking my panelists, my fellow panelists right now, in the most loving way possible. Okay. So, Daniel, Debin says he's got an interview for a cyber risk-based position coming up. He's studying a course on C-risk right now. Is there something else he can do to prepare?
I would just really go over the job post and see what it is that they focused on as far as like skills and responsibilities and things that they were looking for, and make sure that you are on point with answers. Jump into like a GPT, tell it, hey, you are going to be interviewing me as a person for this type of job. Hit me. And then see what kind of answers come back or questions, and then see how well you answer them. You know, you're going to be a really good uh, judge of how well you thought you have control over that information. Is it in there? Is it something that you're very comfortable with? If not, you need to kind of write that down and go, okay, I need to go do a little bit of study right there, do some cramming before you get into that hot seat, so that when and not just the information as well. By the way, this is always a fun little fact that people kind of forget about. Who are the leaders that are putting out information and things of that nature, are at the tip of the spear about those specific topics? Know who they are, have them on the tip of your tongue and ready to talk about that stuff. Go, oh yeah, it's just like Sam Altman with OpenAI and blah, blah, blah. If you're able to talk like that about something that is pertinent to whatever job role you're taking on, doesn't matter whether it's this one or anything else, you need to be able to sound like you are someone who is in that space, who wants to be a part of it and is passionate about it. And if you can do that, you're going to do pretty well.
Another thing you can call out too is look to see what they're publishing around the topic. What are they putting on their social media that aligns with that topic, and be able to say, hey, I saw your R&D director posted about this. I find that very interesting. This is how it applies. And this is how my knowledge would apply to that and securing it from the risk point of view. So always use your OSINT. Go out and mine as much data as you can on the company before you interview, so you can talk about the company, so you sound like an employee versus just someone on the street.
I love it. Great tip. Really quick super chat from Derek Welski. Would love to volunteer for SCCon. Is there a sign up link? Hashtag simply swole, because he's at the gym when he does the show. We do not have a sign up sheet right now. I have started reaching out to a couple people about volunteering. Basically, I wanted to get all the big pieces in place, so then it's much more tactical. Like, hey, Fleetus, can you do this? Versus like, hey, like we need something to do with vendors. Can you figure it out? So yeah, Derek, I will keep you in mind. I'll probably just do a live stream dedicated to Simply CyberCon and break down where we are, what I need, what's going on, and then get people during that event. I'm going to take a layup question here. Angular says, clip-on sunglasses. Unless you're Morpheus, no. All right, next question. And by the way, drink, right? That would be a 1999 reference. So, and if you kids don't know it, Morpheus, come on. Okay. Cyber Risk Witch, Fleetus, detecting North Korean threat actors.
Oh, where to start? I love that last part there. So
Yeah,
it starts with HR. It really starts with your hiring process. How are you catching these North Koreans who are trying to get infiltrated into your company? Go read what KnowBe4 put out. KnowBe4 told you how they found them. I wish more of the companies that we have talked about behind the scenes would come out and say, we've also hired this, and this is what we've learned from it, and be more like them. So really, it's just making sure you set up detection rules in your onboarding. For the deep fakes, make sure that you make them wave their hand, make sure that you ask them questions. And I think it might have been James who put this out here, or maybe someone else. Ask them local questions. Like, what is a bar in your area? If they say they live in Chicago, ask them about Chicago. Ask them something that they would need to know about the city that's prominent. What is the XYZ? And so that way they don't make up something. So get to know them locally. So add interview questions that localize the candidate to where they say they live. That's another tip that you can do when you're the hiring manager or the HR person. Additionally, continue to put controls in place to watch for Bastion host and VPN clients coming from non-sanctioned companies or non-sanctioned countries, not companies, so that you can catch this detection. So it really depends on your organization. And yeah, I'd love to hear Daniel's input on this as well, because there's a lot of things companies can do. It's just, will they do it from a soft skill, technology, as well as process?
yeah. We Jerry and I had the immense pleasure of talking with CTIJ the other night, and that is a phenomenal place. Like he was talking about the diamond model of intrusion analysis and doing these types of things. Start profiling what you already know. Go to MITRE ATT&CK and start looking at these threat actors. Read information that you can already find on these threat actors that exist, figuring out what their TTPs are, what their capabilities are, and building a threat profile on specific North Korean actors. And that way you're going to be much more informed on how they work and how they operate. And now you can do all those things that Fleetus was just telling you to do at a much higher level with much more effectiveness, because you're tuned in to who these North Korean actors are and how they operate. So as soon as you kind of get into their mindset of what they do and how they do it, you're going to be able to set up those defenses and go, okay, here's a list of IPs, here's a list of domains, here's a list of all this stuff that we've already kind of mapped out and threat modeled for, so that we can best protect against if that's the big thing we're worried about. And writing all those reports up. So if you're just doing this for fun or for experience, you get to write all that stuff up and use it as, oh, I actually wrote a paper on, threat modeling North Korean actors. Here it is. It's a Medium post. Go check it out. Put that on your resume. Like, that's all really good stuff to do.
The other hot topic is the return to office. That'll stop them. If they can't show up in your office, they can't work for you. So more and more Fortune 100s have returned to office 4 days a week, 5 days a week. So that's going to cut some companies' risk profile as well.
Next question for Daniel. Daylight Dave says, doing cyber degree and the Cisco route, but he wants to red team, which is why I'm throwing it to you. Should he go for CPTS or OSCP?
Let's see here. Doing a degree and going through the Cisco route, I want to red team CPTS or OSCP. So if you say red team, do you mean generically the idea of offensive type of security? Obviously, CPTS and OSCP are really good. Both of them, very good entry level into the pen testing red side of things. If you mean red teaming specifically, though, you're probably going to look at something like CRTO, and which would also be a pretty good bomb. But if I had to choose OSCP for CPTS, just personally, I probably would go CPTS. Just I really like Hack the Box. I think they are a phenomenal. That's right. That's I always get they're Hack the Box. And OSCP, they're starting to become a bit, just personal opinion again. I don't have anything necessarily against OSCP. I actually talked to InfoSec Pat about this the other day, just 2 days ago. He was giving his opinion on this as well. And we're both kind of thinking that OSCP is starting to get a little long in the tooth, and hopefully they are going to be revamping and getting better, their test, kind of updating their test to be a bit more modern. They have done that. They've just been a little slow behind the curve. Or so CPTS. But again, it's all going to come down to you and what you value more when it comes to job hunting. So as you get through your degree, as you get through your programs, and you start to enter the job market and you're looking at jobs, what are you seeing is being valued more by the companies that you are interested in getting into? If they say OSCP, then it's probably going to be OSCP that you need to go after. If they say OSCP or like certification, something similar, then you're fine. You go with either one. You go with what you like. So they're hip to that. They just know that is an industry certification that has a lot of recognition. So it's going to be up to you to weigh the pros and cons.
There you go. I love it. Thank you. We're almost at 9:30. There is not a Simply Secured stream today because James McQuiggan completed his season. But I do have some stuff I have to do today. So let's do a speed run really quick, see if we can answer as many questions as possible in 3 minutes. Fleetus, let's talk cyber for the home. I'm in the market for a new home wireless router, secure and flexible. What does the panel recommend? I guess Fleetus first, then Daniel, then me. Go.
Yeah, again, most modern stuff out there today, just to keep it simple, just as long as you harden it, just put passwords, put separate access points for your home and your work, your IoT devices. That's the biggest thing, is just try to separate your devices. It's you can't really go wrong with commercial or customer-based equipment. I'm not going to recommend Ubiquity and Nighthawk because it's your choice. Like, as long as you separate out your IoT, your home network, and your work devices, you're fine.
Daniel, you want to follow up?
Agree to agree. Like, just use good security practices and whatever it is you're using. Obviously, do your research as you're looking at the devices that can fulfill whatever your need is. And then see, is there any glaring security issues or long-standing history of bad security practices by that organization? If not, purchase and do your own security, as you should.
Yeah. And one other thing, make sure that whatever you buy, all your devices are compatible for. You don't want to buy a router and all of a sudden your old devices, your IoT devices won't connect to it.
Augusto Delgado trying to make, I guess, grow a following on Facebook. I mean, Augusto, I would just use all the marketing hacks, right? A hook to get intrigue, graphics that are eye-catching. You just want people to spend time on your page. That's the trick. You can have great content.
Clickbait really works well.
Yeah, I mean, just be genuine. Don't, number 4 will shock you. And number 4 is like, use a good password or something. All right. I'm looking for questions really quick. Is TryHackMe worth paying for a subscription? We're coming right at you. Vendor specific name. I'll weigh in first. I think TryHackMe is good, especially if you're just starting out. The common vibe is TryHackMe is good, and then once you get through that, you can upgrade to Hack the Box. Tons of people. Ryan Montgomery, aka 0 Day. Red Team Village keynote speaker multiple times. You've definitely seen him on social media because he's very good at posting and having these viral things. He got all his training on TryHackMe. Like, he is where he is today, and he'll tell you that because of TryHackMe. In fact, last time I checked, he was number 1 on TryHackMe's scoreboard, which people say when they introduce him, he's the number 1 hacker in the world, which he absolutely hates when they say that because obviously what that would suggest. All right. Looking at chat really quick for questions. Ooh, looks like we're caught up here. Oh my. All right. So we're gonna wrap here. Daniel, what should people be thinking about? Do we have a 10 a.m. with Daniel Lowry?
We have a 10 a.m. with Daniel Lowry. Cybercast IRL episode number 43 is firing off at 10 a.m. Eastern. So be there or be square.
Oh my gosh. Let's pull that up so everybody can see some of that. Daniel Lowry here. This is great. I love myself some Daniel Lowry. I love myself some Fleet's posting. I just love this community, but let me show you what you're getting. Cause sometimes you like to try before you buy, right? You don't want to just like throw in with the first thing you see. This guy right here, 2 above me, is the same guy who's on this YouTube channel. So you're right there. Look, he's doing it live from the hotel room. He's got industry guests. There's no stopping this dude. Okay. Daniel Lowry at Daniel Lowry. And right here, 10 a.m., he's doing the IRL. One thing that he's known for, besides cybersecurity content, is Monster Energy drinks. Daniel, will you be doing a Monster Energy pour in the next 27 minutes?
I've got the Lord's Camo Cup right here.
There it is.
Just waiting for a Monster Energy drink.
I love it. So go check that out. I will drop a link in chat for everybody. We usually do raid that. Fleetus, what should people be thinking about?
I don't have a whole lot for you. As I said, I've been busy offline doing stuff. I've shared my talk my recording is going premiering on Monday. I'm going to try to make your Discord AMA at 1. So if you think of other questions, I'll plan to drop in there. But other than that, just continue to give back. Submit those call for papers. Talk about this. Be an evangelist. Everyone in the field can talk about security because, as I share often, security is everyone's job. We just happen to have security in our titles.
That's right. And I will be doing the AMA at 1 p.m. on Discord, so please go run over there. I don't know who will be with me. It sounds like Fleetus might be with me and others. Yeah, so, and just really quick, I'm seeing right now, Daniel, Alpha Sierra is getting amped. Luke Canfield's getting amped. A lot of people, Space Tacos amped for the poor. So, we got to get you a Monster Energy drink sponsorship. I got to tell you.
They just refuse to return my phone calls for some strange reason.
I love it. All right, everybody. I hope you had a great week. I hope you had a great stream. I hope you enjoyed Jawjacking. Thank you for contributing. I see tons of people in chat answering questions and sharing their own thoughts and opinions on the questions we're asking. This is what it takes. This is what it is right here. Like, we're the panel, but there's all of you in chat have your own experiences, your own perspectives, and we love seeing you share them. Thank you so much for making this community amazing. I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Until next time, stay secure.